Welcome back, basketball family, to another massive, explosive update right here on the channel. Grab your seats, lock in, and make sure you turn up the volume, because what we are about to unpack today is nothing short of groundbreaking for Philippine basketball. We are talking about a monumental, jaw-dropping development that has completely set the local and international hoops scene on absolute fire. If you have been scrolling through your feeds, if you have been checking the forums, or if you have even just glanced at the sports headlines today, you already know that something wild is brewing. We have a massive win to talk about, a spectacular performance of 20 points and 14 rebounds that absolutely shattered the competition, and a massive wave of undeniable good news for Gilas Pilipinas. But that is not even the craziest part of today's story. The headline that is making everyone lose their collective minds is the rumor, the speculation, and the growing evidence that NBA legend, three-time Defensive Player of the Year and future Hall of Famer Dwight Howard, Papa Dwight himself, is reportedly operating strictly undercover in connection with our national basketball program. Yes, you heard me correctly.
Papa Dwight.
Undercover. Gilas Pilipinas. Just let those words sink in for a moment. We are talking about one of the most dominant big men to ever step foot on a basketball court, a man who took the Orlando Magic to the NBA Finals on his back, a man who won an NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers, and a man who has recently embraced the Asian basketball scene with an enthusiasm we have rarely seen from international superstars. Now, he is supposedly making stealthy, behind-the-scenes moves that could have massive, long-lasting implications for the future of Philippine basketball. I know it sounds like something straight out of a movie script, or perhaps the ultimate basketball fantasy, but the breadcrumbs are all there, and today, we're going to follow every single one of them to get to the truth. Let us start by addressing the sheer magnitude of that stat line, 20 points and 14 rebounds. In the modern game, where the pace is incredibly fast and the three-point shot reigns supreme, seeing a classic, dominant, bully ball double-double is a beautiful sight to behold. It is a testament to sheer physicality, impeccable positioning, and an unrelenting desire to own the paint. When you put up 20 and 14 in a highly competitive environment, you are not just participating in the game. You are dictating the terms of engagement. You are telling the opposing team that the shaded lane is closed for business and that every rebound belongs to you. This kind of performance sends a shockwave through the locker room. It inspires the young guys, it puts the veterans on notice, and it electrifies a fan base that lives and breathes basketball. The Filipino fans, arguably the most passionate basketball fans on the face of the earth, recognize greatness when they see it. We appreciate the grind, the hustle, and the raw power that it takes to secure 14 boards against world-class competition. And when that kind of performance is linked, either directly or indirectly, to the overall growth and momentum of Gilas Pilipinas, the excitement reaches an absolute fever pitch. Now, why is this specifically classified as incredibly good news for Gilas? To understand that, we have to look at the current trajectory of our national team. We are in an era of transition, growth, and sky-high ambition. We have seen our boys battle the best in the world. We have seen the emergence of towering talents like Kai Sotto, the steady brilliance of Justin Brownlee, the undeniable dominance of June Mar Fajardo, and the rise of a new generation of players who are hungry to prove that the Philippines belongs on the global stage. But to take that next monumental step, to truly consistently compete with the European powerhouses and the elite teams from the Americas, we need every possible advantage. We need world-class scouting, we need elite mentorship, and we need exposure to the absolute highest levels of basketball intellect. This is where the magic word comes into play: undercover. When we hear that Dwight Howard is allegedly undercover, it sparks a million questions. What exactly is he doing? Is he consulting with the coaching staff? Is he providing secret, high-level workouts for our big men behind closed doors? Is he acting as an international ambassador to help bring more global attention and resources to our local programs? Or, and this is the wildest theory out there, is there a massive, unprecedented master plan being formulated in the shadows? Dwight Howard's connection to the Philippines is not entirely new. We all know about his highly publicized and incredibly successful stint with Strong Group Athletics during the Dubai International Basketball Championship. We saw him wearing the Philippine colors, We saw him interacting with the local players, and we saw him absolutely dominate the competition alongside guys like Kevin Kiambao and Andre Roberson. We saw him embrace the culture, the food, the fans, and the undeniable passion that this country has for the sport. He didn't just come here for a paycheck. He came here and genuinely connected with the pusso mentality. He laughed with the fans, he danced in the locker room, and he showed a level of humility and joy that endeared him to millions of Filipinos overnight. But this new development, this undercover narrative, suggests that his relationship with Philippine basketball did not end when the tournament in Dubai concluded. It suggests that roots have been planted. Imagine, for just a second, what it would mean for a young, developing center in the Gilas pool to get private, one-on-one tutelage from Dwight Howard. Imagine Kai Sato, who has the height and the skill, learning the dark arts of post defense, rebounding positioning, and pick-and-roll vertical spacing from a man who mastered those exact skills at the absolute highest level of the sport. Imagine the psychological boost it gives our players to know that an NBA legend believes in their potential so much that he is willing to work with them quietly, away from the flashing cameras and the mainstream media spotlight. That is the true essence of this good news. It is not just about a single game or a single stat line. It is about the transfer of generational knowledge. It is about a culture shift. It is about the realization that Philippine basketball is commanding respect from the game's greatest icons. Throughout this video, we are going to dissect every single angle of this story. We will break down the tape, we will analyze the quotes, and we will separate the hard facts from the wild speculation. We will look at what this 20-point, 14-rebound explosion really means in the grand scheme of things. We will explore the intricacies of Gilas Pilipinas' current roster and how an undercover asset like Papa Dwight could be the ultimate game-changer for our upcoming international campaigns. This is a story of global basketball convergence, a story of passion meeting opportunity, and a story that could redefine how the world views the Philippine basketball program. So do not go anywhere. Make sure you are subscribed, make sure you have liked this video, and get ready, because we are about to dive deep into the paint, uncover the secrets, and break down exactly why Papa Dwight's undercover mission is the greatest thing to happen to Gilas Pilipinas this year. Let's get straight into the meat of this incredible situation. To truly grasp the gravity of Dwight Howard operating in any capacity, especially an undercover, advisory, or mentorship role, with Gilas Pilipinas or its affiliates, we have to rewind and look at the foundation of this relationship. It all started with the Strong Group Athletics campaign. When the announcement was first made that Dwight Howard was going to suit up for a Philippine club team, the collective reaction of the basketball world was a mixture of shock and sheer excitement. This wasn't a washed-up player looking for a desperate last hurrah. This was a guy who, just a few years prior, was an essential rotational piece for a championship-winning Los Angeles Lakers team. He still had the physique of a Greek god, the defensive instincts of a predator, and a basketball IQ forged in the fires of hundreds of high-stakes NBA playoff games. When Dwight stepped onto the court in Dubai, wearing a jersey representing the Philippines, something clicked. He didn't play selfishly. He didn't demand the ball every single possession just to pad his stats. Instead, he played within the system. He set bone-crushing screens, he communicated tirelessly on defense, and he anchored the paint with a terrifying presence. And let's talk about the production. A stat line of 20 points and 14 rebounds in international FIBA-style play is incredibly difficult to achieve. The games are shorter, the paint is more congested because there is no defensive 3-second violation to bail out the offense, and the physicality is often brutal. Yet, Dwight made it look effortless. He showcased a masterclass in rebounding fundamentals, boxing out early, tracking the trajectory of the ball off the rim, and using his massive wingspan to secure the rock at its highest point. Those 14 rebounds were not just empty stats, they were possession savers. They were defensive stops that fueled transition offense, and they were offensive boards that broke the backs of the opposing defense. Now, how does this translate to good news in Gilas? The connection is undeniable. While Dwight Howard cannot officially play for Gilas Pilipinas in FIBA-sanctioned events due to his extensive history representing the United States national team, including winning an Olympic gold medal with the Redeem team in 2008, his influence on the Philippine basketball ecosystem is profound. The concept of him being undercover speaks to a role that is off the official FIBA roster but deeply embedded in the developmental fabric of our players. Consider the current state of the Gilas frontcourt. We have a mix of seasoned veterans and promising young giants. Junmar Fajardo, the Kraken, is a domestic legend with unparalleled touch and strength in the post. Kai Sato is our ultimate project, a towering figure with a soft touch and sky-high potential. Carl Tamayo, Kevin Kiambao, and AJ Edu represent the versatile, modern big men of our future. Now, inject the knowledge of Dwight Howard into that group. What happens when Dwight pulls Kai Sato aside after a practice session? Dwight can teach Kai how to leverage his height advantage not just for scoring but for intimidation. He can teach him the nuances of verticality, how to contest shots at the rim without fouling, a skill that Dwight practically perfected during his Orlando Magic days. He can show AJ Edu how to read the hips of a driving guard to anticipate the timing of a block. He can talk to Kevin Kiambao about the mindset required to dominate the glass even when you are matched up against taller, heavier opponents. This is the good news. It is the establishment of a mentorship pipeline. For years, Philippine basketball has relied heavily on the natural talent and the incredible heart of its players. The puso mentality has won us games we had no business winning. But heart and passion can only take you so far against the tactical brilliance of European teams or the overwhelming athleticism of African and American squads. To cross the threshold from regional powerhouse to global contender, we need elite technical refinement. Having an undercover operative like Dwight Howard, someone who can evaluate our talent through the lens of a multiple-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, gives the Gilas program an edge that money simply cannot buy. Furthermore, let's analyze the psychological impact. When an NBA legend of Dwight's caliber validates your program, it changes the internal belief system of the entire squad. Let's face it, sometimes players from smaller basketball nations carry an inherent, unspoken inferiority complex when facing off against teams loaded with NBA talent. But if you have been in the gym with Dwight Howard, if you have successfully boxed him out in a scrimmage, or if you have scored over his outstretched arms during a drill, your confidence skyrockets. You start to realize that basketball is just basketball, and that the gap between you and the best in the world might not be as insurmountable as you once thought. Dwight's presence, his constant encouragement, and his famously goofy but intensely competitive demeanor create a perfect learning environment. He removes the pressure while simultaneously demanding excellence. Let's also talk about the undercover aspect from a strategic standpoint. In international basketball, scouting is everything. Teams spend hundreds of hours dissecting game film to find the slightest weakness in their opponents. If Dwight Howard is officially announced as a consultant or a coach for Gilas, every other team in the region immediately goes on high alert. They start adjusting their game plans, knowing that the Philippine defense is going to be anchored on NBA-level principles. But by keeping his involvement unofficial, unpublicized, and strictly undercover, Gilas retains the element of surprise. Our players can silently integrate his defensive philosophies, his rebounding techniques, and his pick-and-roll coverages without tipping our hand to the rest of the world. By the time the next major FIBA tournament rolls around, opposing teams will be facing a Gilas squad that is tougher, smarter, and significantly more imposing in the paint, and they won't even know exactly where that upgrade came from. This 20-point, 14-rebound masterclass we saw from him recently is also a reminder of what the standard of excellence looks like. It is a visual textbook for our local players. It shows them that true dominance is not about being flashy. It is about consistency, brute force, and an unrelenting work ethic. When Dwight grabs a rebound, he doesn't just catch it. He secures it with a violence that deters anyone from trying to swipe it away. When he scores in the post, he initiates the contact, creating space for himself rather than fading away from the defender. These are the micro skills that separate the good from the great, and having that standard demonstrated right in front of our homegrown talent is invaluable. Moreover, Dwight's undercover involvement strengthens the global network of Philippine basketball. The world is taking notice of how much the Philippines loves the game. When a player with Dwight's massive global following constantly praises the country, talks about his amazing experiences with the local teams, and continues to associate himself with our basketball culture, it raises our international profile. It makes the Philippines a more attractive destination for other high-level international players, top-tier coaches, and global basketball investments. It proves that we are not just a country of passionate fans, but a legitimate, serious basketball hub that commands the respect of the game's elite. So while he might not be wearing the Gilas jersey in a FIBA World Cup game, his fingerprints will be all over the success of the team. He is helping to build the infrastructure of a world-class frontcourt, brick by brick, rebound by rebound, strictly under the cover of the shadows. As we wrap up this incredibly deep dive into the massive news shaking the foundations of Philippine basketball, I want you to really take a step back and appreciate the moment we are witnessing. We have just spent the last chunk of time breaking down a 20-point, 14-rebound phenomenon, dissecting the undeniable good news for Gilas Pilipinas, and uncovering the fascinating, stealthy reality of Papa Dwight operating undercover to elevate our national program. This is the kind of story that reminds us why we fall in love with this sport in the first place. It is not just about the final score on the board. It is about the narratives, the unexpected alliances, and the global brotherhood that basketball creates. To think that a kid from Atlanta, Georgia, who grew up to be one of the most feared and dominant centers in the history of the NBA, is now dedicating his time, his energy, and his vast reservoir of basketball knowledge to help the Philippines reach new heights is nothing short of poetic. This development is a massive victory for the Puso culture. For decades, the Filipino basketball fan has given everything to the sport, unwavering loyalty, deafening cheers in the arenas, and a passion that burns brighter than anywhere else in the world. And now, the basketball gods are rewarding that loyalty by bringing us a legend who genuinely respects and wants to nurture that passion. Dwight Howard didn't have to do any of this. He has nothing left to prove on the basketball court. His legacy as a champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and a future Hall of Famer is already cemented in stone. But his willingness to go undercover, to work behind the scenes, and to pass the torch to the next generation of Gilas stars speaks volumes about his character and his pure love for the game. So, what happens next? The ball is now in the court of our local players. The knowledge is being offered, the standard has been set, and the blueprint for frontcourt dominance is being laid out right in front of them. It is up to Kai Sotto, AJ Edu, Kevin Kiambao, and the rest of the Gilas squad to absorb every single lesson, to apply every technique, and to translate this incredible behind-the-scenes advantage into victories on the international stage. As fans, our job is to keep supporting, keep believing, and keep watching as this beautiful project unfolds. We might not see Dwight Howard on the official coaching staff list, and we certainly won't see him checking into a FIBA game for the Philippines, but make no mistake, his presence will be felt every time a Gilas player secures a crucial contested rebound, every time they protect the rim with authority, and every time they show the world that Philippine basketball is ready to take on the Giants. I want to hear from every single one of you watching this right now. Head down to the comment section and let your voice be heard. How massive is this news for you? What specific skill do you think Dwight Howard can teach our Gilas big men that will make the biggest difference in our upcoming tournaments? Do you think his undercover mentorship will finally be the key that unlocks Kai Sotto's full potential? And let me know, if you could choose one other NBA legend to go undercover and help out the Gilas guards or wings, who would it be and why? Let's get a massive debate going down there, because your insights are what make this community the absolute best on the internet. Before you go, if you enjoyed this extensive breakdown and if you are as hyped about the future of Gilas Pilipinas as I am, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It tells the algorithm that Philippine basketball is a global force to be reckoned with. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update, a deep dive, or a breaking news story from the world of hoops. We are building something special here, and I want all of you to be a part of this journey. Thank you so much for tuning in, thank you for your passion, and thank you for supporting the channel. Keep the faith, keep the Puso alive, and I will see you all in the very next video. Would you like me to do a deep dive into another potential NBA player's connection to Gilas Pilipinas next?